Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday flagship podcast. It is 1:30, the sun is shining, and I hope you are all well in the middle of May. There are no official ITFC transfer news, but there's still plenty for us to pull apart and discuss. And we've got the League One playoff to give our thoughts on yesterday with Sunderland winning promotion. I wouldn't say back to the big time, because I wouldn't go as far as to call the Championship the big time, but certainly on the way back to where they feel they need to be. Free. That's right. F-R-E-E-E. Free. First of all, free stuff. It doesn't cost a single penny to hit the like button. Doesn't cost you nothing but 1 second of your time. So if you're watching this live or watching on catch up, please do hit that like button. It does help the show, helps the platform, and it lets us know as content creators, as contributors know that their time is valuable, valued by you guys and girls at home. That's the free bit. If you want to go further and become a patron of the platform, you can do so through our Ko-Fi or becoming a YouTube member. There's me, my lovely, beautiful face, great watch. Richard Key type arms. But there we go. YouTube memberships are available should you wish to, or go to our Ko-Fi site. That's the paid stuff if you want to, support us through that method. It really does help. We've got Mike Baker afternoon from sunny Kesgrave, Matt Stannard, Colin Plum. I hope you're feeling better this week, Colin. He joined us on one of the shows last week. Great contribution. Stephen Parry, Andy, seeing an awful team like Sunderland get promoted give me hope for next season. EJ, good afternoon, Gov, and everyone watching. Look at that. Really busy chat. And Stephen Parry, not only is he a YouTube member, ladies and gentlemen, so not only is he winning in life that way, but he's also hit that like button. Superb. Right. He's been moody all summer. Let's see if yesterday or the summer sun has cheered him up. It is, of course, the Media Mogul. Matthew, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks. Have I been moody for a long time? Maybe I have.
You've been moody for a good 3 months. Let's be honest. Yeah. You were moody yesterday afternoon in the WhatsApp chat again. I felt you were. Yeah, I mean, when I asked you, was there anything you wanted me to say to certain people, you were like, "Why did we finish 11th?" That's what I want to know.
I did say that. Yeah. No,
You did. So,
yeah.
How are you feeling? Because I asked George Monday. Go on.
I was a bit tired yesterday because I was back at boxing for the first time since my fake COVID. Ooh. And it kind of knackered me out a little bit. I'm still feeling the effects now. But that was good. I was happy in the week when Eintracht Frankfurt won. Come on.
You were. Why did you choose Frankfurt over Rangers? That got many people sort of questioning on social media that I saw.
Well, I've always, as you know, I've always been interested in Bundesliga because my in-laws lived over there for a certain period. And my wife was brought up over there for 2-3 years. So I've always been quite interested in it. I don't know. I just sort of connected with Frankfurt. I really like their, like we mention it sometimes when they don't be ultras and like the banners you see in their stadium. Do you know the one they took over to Seville? Took 7 trucks and cost them €50,000 just for that 2 minutes of unfurling.
Brilliant.
But and I feel like there's a little synergy there. We won the UEFA Cup the year after them, so we sit side by side on that history table. I just really like them as a club.
You also fancy yourself as a bit of an ultra, don't you?
Well, I mean, if you get any ruckusing going on, I'll be with you running down the road somewhere.
I ain't running nowhere. I'll be limping down the road. But I do think you fancy yourself as a bit of a flare waving Stone Island.
I do. Yeah. But I am interested in that whole culture, and there's lots of good books about it. So it's very interesting to me.
Okay.
And of course, there's shared ownership in German clubs, with the fans have a big say on what happens in their clubs, and it's the same at Frankfurt. So There you go. So it's delightful. I mean, they're in Champions League now, even better.
Scott Johnson. Hi, Matt. How are you? How are you this afternoon? Ask Scott.
Now, is that the Scott Johnson I know from the gym? I don't know.
Well, it might be because he's asking you how you are. Not many people care, really.
Yeah, no, exactly. No. Just you and Scott.
Exactly. You've maxed your friends list out. Although not quite, because there's still a third person on that friends list. Here he is. It is our cruncher. Bringing that hard truth, Mr. Moss. How are you, sir?
Why are we back to individual intros? Because I actually like that one of mine and Matt's.
Yeah, but the lights were falling over, so I needed the time to bring them back together. You see, otherwise you just see.
My new cap for the holiday.
Beautiful. You've been after that for ages, haven't you? The away days. Yeah.
They do sell this in Planet Blue, but I got it online. So
you could have nicked your sons, of course.
You could have done.
Yeah, he's got the same. We've got a big announcement. Do you want to do the big announcement now, or do you want to wait for later?
At the end.
Okay.
Always save the main events always go on last. I don't like this whole main event on early stuff they started to do on wrestling. The main event is main event.
So if you're watching now, don't tune out because we've got big news and it involves all of you.
And particularly if you want to get yourself to Portman Road. That's all I'm going to say. Right. Talking of hard truth. Sunderland back in the Championship, as Joshua, who is obviously a Sunderland fan, says.
Congrats.
What are we thinking? You both watched the game yesterday. I heard a little bit on it while I was in the bird room.
Matt was trolling me. Matt was trolling me last night on Twitter because I'd done a poll, right? I'd done a poll and there was 75% out of the nearly 300 who voted said Sunderland would win. I just quote tweeted it saying, everyone writing off Wickham again. Now, I never said, Matt, that Wickham would win. And then Matt's trolling me. This aged well last night. I didn't actually say Wickham would win because I said to Colin that Sunderland would win. So there you go. But they deserved to win, didn't they, Matt? On the 90 minutes, it wasn't a great game. For the first, I think 25 minutes, Wickham barely made it out of their half, did they?
No, exactly. I can't stand that Sky commentator. I'm sure he's a very nice chap, but he just gives me a headache. And then Andy Hinchcliffe next to him. They need to change that all up again.
The Matt Phillips commentator hate continues, ladies and gentlemen.
But you only have to look at the size of the support there yesterday, like 46,000 from Sunderland. I think.
Yeah.
I know everyone calls Wickham Tin Pot, right? And they've got a small ground, but look, they took 22,000 there. Lee Anderson was giving me a bit of stick last night. Gareth, because he said, "What players would you have in Town's team?" Well, I tell you what, for starters, Lee, I'd have Jacobs as the left back. He'd upgrade that position for starters. There wouldn't be many more, but we have to look at the size of the club that Wickham are, and they always punch above their weight. And Gareth Ainsworth, his comments after the game, Matt, were really good because all too often nowadays you get managers, they're moaning, they're making excuses, they're always looking for like the referee's decision. He didn't say any of that. He said, "Look, Sunderland deserve to win." And he couldn't have said it any better because they did over 90 minutes. It wasn't a great game. Stockdale, what was he doing? Like Stephen Parry said, for the first goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight at him.
Fact, like, didn't they? When nobody's on.
But he's given a lot of poor goals away. If you look over the season, Matt, at Wickham, and a lot of goals, look, he gave a bad one against Town when he was on the halfway line and Selena robbed him. So, but look, fair play to Wickham, but Sunderland deserve to be. They should be in the Championship anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, with us.
See, I'm delighted that Sunderland got promoted because I wanted them to get promoted because it's a long while away if you want to go. And it's another big team. I think Wickham do get a bit of disrespect, but then as Matt Stannard says, Matt, they don't really help themselves by advertising their car park more than their tickets.
Is that where Cruncher was stuck for ages after the game?
I think it was.
No,
yeah.
we went I went around to see the players, but it's a really funny place to get because it's like at a dead end. The stadium, Matt. You just drive into it, and then it takes a while. No man crush on Gareth Ainsworth, Lee Anderson. I'll just say that he's done a superb job there. But I think that he fits that club. He's built the team. He's been there 8 or 9 years, Martin, I think. And if he went anywhere else,
QPR legend, isn't he? Could go there.
I know you say he might go there, but I think he'd struggle to replicate.
Maybe.
If he went to QPR, would he get the time, Matt? No, he wouldn't.
No,
he wouldn't get the time that he's had at Wickham. So
and bringing it, I think you're right, but bringing it back around to Ipswich Town point of view, we've yet to make the playoffs once in the third tier. How did you feel at full time? Because I know I felt sick. I was happy Sunderland got promoted, but then it really hit me that we've not even tasted playoff action in the 4 years. We're a long way off that pace.
By the way, we've lost 2 members of the not played at New Wembley club this week, Port Vale and Forest.
How many have you got left, Matt?
It is, if I can remember rightly, us, Blackburn, that was a curveball, Crawley, Colchester.
It's funny you should say that. Before I come on, I was watching. It's non-league day. You had a big role to play in that, didn't you, at Wembley? Yeah, so you've got the VAR was on Littlehampton Town versus Newport Pagnell, and it's 1-0 to Newport Pagnell. This guy called Kieran Barnes. If you've not seen his goal, go and check it out. It is an absolute worlding. And after that, you've got Wrexham versus Bromley. So brilliant day out for the non-league today. They're at Wembley, and we've never made it there. And
but I'm not as bothered by that stat.
The FA Vars used to be my favourite tournament to run. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think there's a kid who works at the FA playing for Littlehampton. Tom Biggs was in the non-league paper today. He's actually playing at the home of his office.
We've got a new League One member in the chat there, Matt. Charlie's in from the One Rovers.
Charlie's in.
Hey, welcome.
You can have James Norwood for free. I'll give you that one. So when you put your little blog out the other day, Charlie, of all them players you were after, and you put James Norwood in there, you didn't name check me.
No, you didn't. But you need to, Crunch would drive him.
It's interesting that it's taken Sunderland 4 seasons. 4 seasons taking Sunderland, isn't it, to get out of that division?
Yeah.
And we're coming to our 4th season, so maybe there's an I'm pleased they've gone because they've got money behind them. You know, that Russian-French kid, Cyril something, his dad in Marseille. They'd be able to chuck just as much money at players as we would. So
he doesn't own so much as you thought, though, Matt. He only owns just over half.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
He's got the purse strings, though, hasn't he? They got money there to put players in. Absolutely.
That said, how many times in those 4 seasons did they taste the playoffs? That's what's really irking me. And Stephen Parry says, we will. I trust the club. As I said to Mark Ashton, lads, I'm not in the tell me's phase anymore. I'm in the show me. I've trusted the club for too long and been delivered nothing. Yeah. Speaking of which, Jack Taylor last week, a player that was on the radar, was exclusively revealed by the East Anglian Daily Times. Nice. Barry Fry, sold to the fat bastard in the blue blazer. He says 10 million. It was a great
we don't want John Nolan back. We don't. You didn't reply to my tweet. You didn't reply to my tweet on there when John Nolan was released.
I didn't know what to say. I was like, "What is it, John Nolan? You just said it for me."
Still don't know. 20 minutes he had it, and he got a trip to Dubai out of that. Apparently,
it's done all right.
That's living life right. You know, the best I get is fixed day seafront. But nice. Taylor, £10 million, says Barry Fry. Are you both still interested, or is that a little bit too out of your price range?
He's not 10 million. He's not 10 million. No chance.
What would you pay for him? What would you pay for him?
So what is he worth? 2 plus a player. We said on this time last week and on social this week, Rich, didn't we? Could you throw Tyrese in there because they've activated the year clause?
What are you valuing Tyrese as? Like, because it's quite interesting, you know, if you're on that phone, and we'll come to recruitment strategy a bit later, but if you're on that phone to Barry Fry and he said 10 million, what are you countering with? Because you've got a first valuation on Tyrese. What is that? What is your valuation on Mr. Simpson?
Yeah, good point. I mean, how many goals did he get in League Two?
10.
He was in double figures, right? Yeah, true. I mean, if someone's going to get a valuation out of him.
Anyway, we were offered him. I chatted to Darren Curry in the week. And I remember when you had him on, I said to you last week, 10 million for the whole of Peterborough. And we were offered another lad, Ronnie Edwards. Now, he's one that might get sold for Peterborough in the summer. I think European and I think Premier League teams. They'll only sell one, Peterborough. They'll only sell one player. So, 2 million.
Well, every club's a selling club if they're offered the right price. Look, Man United sold Ronaldo the first time round. They get a good price, they'll sell it. You know, Darryl can only fund the club so much on his own pocket.
So you're both cooling on the Taylor interest because last week you were red hot. Last week you were like, yes, love this, yes. Are you both cooling now? You've heard the valuation. He puts in inverted commas.
I mean, it's bravado from Barry, isn't it? Come on.
Of course it is.
He's given that as a soundbite to the local paper, very much similar to what he did in that show as you referenced just a minute ago. his reality is his price is probably 1.5 to 2 mil, I would have thought. And then, I don't know, I would say Tyrese, double figures in League Two striker, 250 to 300.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can get Tyreek Atkinson. You can get Tyreek Atkinson for free because he's been released by Bristol City. So
interesting.
Well, we thought that would happen, didn't we? There was part of that loan was a view to sign, wasn't it? So we'll wait and see.
I'd be interested in Tyreek, as I said previously, if we can move on Idris or Raheem or both. But with the Taylor, you say Simpson $500,000. Is that fair valuation, Rich? You're hot on players that are purchased.
300. I think it's half.
It's only half a season he went there.
What is the compensation if he was to walk away?
I don't really know. We don't know what it says in the contract. There was that 12-month option that obviously you'd trigger it probably by a certain date, wouldn't you? I think that's just the way
they've done it.
Yeah,
they have done it. Yeah, but had you not activated it, would you not have got a compensation because he's a young player?
But he didn't come through the academy, did he? Because I think we signed him. And he used to play rugby, didn't he? I think he's not.
Been, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So,
all right, fair enough.
I wouldn't get too caught up on Taylor. I can't see. I can't see Dara selling him. Can you?
No.
They want to go down straight back up. He's going to be one of their pivotal players, surely.
Stephen Parry, if we offer, we will pay what you think he's worth. But they're open to a sale, or why not? No, if we offer, we will pay what we think he's worth. Well, that's sound logic, Steve. But they are open to a sale, or why not? They're not for sale. Oh, okay. So you're saying because they're saying he's not for sale, that he's kind of football speak for he is for sale. Two bits of news in the week. I want to quickly grab your thoughts in sort of a couple of minutes or less. Wes Burns, Luke Wolfenden, contract extensions. I think they both happened after we were live last week. I'll split the two. I'll give you Wes, Crunch as a family friend, and I'll give you Wolfie, Matt. Crunch, your thoughts on Wesley signing an extension?
What I want to know is why Wes has not been picked in the Wales squad.
Wales, abundant of talent apparently.
We'll see when they get in the playoffs if they make the World Cup. Maybe they're going down that route, Matt, that they'll keep the squad together for the World Cup, and then after that, it might be a little bit of change.
Wes was wearing a terrible shirt in those photos. You see the shirt he was wearing? He laid it round back to front. Check it out.
So not only are you a commentator critic,
is that the blue shirt he's wearing?
Fashion.
Yeah.
I think they've just been doing a few photos. They were helping out with the work, weren't they? There was Wolfie had got his hard hat on.
That's good.
He got the jigsaw, but it wouldn't work, Wolfie. You have to actually plug it in for it to work. It doesn't work by just holding it.
That's a classic PR stunt.
Or he's probably not had the right training, so probably he's not.
Well, has he had his HSA? Yeah. But obviously, Wes, great player for us. You can vote for him to be PFA Player of the Year. Get voting, town fans. Show we are the biggest fan base in League One. Back up my claims that he needs to win it. But Rich, you must be delighted. I mean, it doesn't mean we're going to keep him for that length of time because contracts in football, sadly, are not really worth that much anymore. But it's great to see a player like him rewarded.
Well, it shows that if you do your job, you're going to get rewarded. Although, look, we can say about doing your job and get rewarded, and then Caden Jackson gets a new year contract, and he's not done his job. So, but no, that's harsh reality. Jackson has been 4 years at the football club, scored 21 goals. I know we're going a little bit off piece there. We were talking about Burns, but he's not done his job, and he's been rewarded with a 2-year contract. I made the
noise. Sorry to cut across because you've highlighted Jackson, but not Aluko. Like, at least Jackson has put together a body of stats. Whereas I think Jackson finished the season with more assists than Sonny Aluko.
What are we looking at body of stats then? 3 goals and 3 assists from when Kieran's in charge, yeah?
Oh, it's not. Hey, I ain't saying
he's got 21 goals over 4 years as a striker, which is absolutely appalling.
I'm not saying he's Mbappe. I'm saying.
Well, let's talk about him then. While you're on it, what do you think to that then?
Oh, Matt? He's in the croissant league.
He's running PSG now, isn't he?
Unbelievable. And then now the Liga are crying, aren't they? Complaining.
Yeah.
He's been given authorization to sign off on all transfers, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's designing the new kit. He's going to be painting the walls. Wow. He's doing everything.
I don't think Wesley was given that type of scope in his new deal. I mean, I don't know, but I can't imagine he was given the keys to the town.
It's good. Look, getting back to Burns, it's good that he's had a really good season. Obviously, you'd have the eyes looking at him. He's under contract. till 2025, and let's hope he kicks on now, Martin. I know you've said he's got to do it all again. You know, he's done one season and he was fantastic. You know, like we said, when he came, he was the first signing. We were chatting off air. When did he sign? June the 3rd, was it?
June the 3rd, yeah, I think
So
so.
if anyone's having a little sweepstake, when we might make the first signing, somewhere around that date, maybe. But he has to do it again next season, and he has to improve on what he's done now. More goals, more assists, you know, and they all need to step up. But yeah, I'm really happy that Wes has stayed at the football club
and stay fit as well.
Yeah, and he'll get a lot of attention next season. You see towards the end of the season, Matt, he's a few late tackles on that ankle. You know, teams are going to they'll know what he can do. They'll put one on him early. You'll try.
They will
try and stop him. Try and crunch him early. Put him
One
out
of
of
the
the
big
game.
things one of the big things on these contracts, like if you were Sunderland, you might be looking at him, wouldn't you? So the fact the contract's been extended just means we could probably ask for a bigger fee because of the length of the contract potentially.
Happy days.
Luke
Wolfenden, Matt.
Yeah, Wolfie. Wow. I would say at some point last season, I was going, Wolfie's finished at this club. I think we both said that, Rich. So again, you know, it's great to eat the humble pie, to see someone come in. He's obviously clicked better with Kieran McKenna and John McGrill than he did with Cook. And now you're seeing the fruits of it. Yeah, I mean, he had back end of the season, he was really good. I mean, he was almost undroppable, wasn't he?
Funny you're talking about Wolfenden. Before we come on air, I sent that clip to you, Martin, of like 2 years ago when we were talking about Dobra. And I went back in one of the shows and I was watching Luke Wolfenden he'd signed a new contract. And all three of us said he'd signed for like 3 years, I think. It was like, he won't be here. Evans will sell him. He's a good player. You know,
yeah.
I was watching it. So it's interesting that he's just obviously signed that contract. And people are now, I think it was it in Monday's show or it might have been Wednesday's show, Martin? No good asking Matt because he probably doesn't watch back.
We should do. It was great content last week. Really, really terrific.
Somebody in the chat said about him playing in the Premier League, Wolfenden, and I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
He played well for half the season. He played really, really well. Like I said to Burns, he has to perform on a weekly basis. And there you go. If he performs, then he'll get people watching him.
He will. Yeah. It was Harry Butcher who I think said that last week. Moving it on.
I do love how Ipswich fans suddenly go like, I've just climbed a little hill on a Sunday afternoon. Do you know what? I might do Everest next. It goes from one to the other, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. Just pump the brakes a little bit, give him an opportunity. But it just shows you in that time period how much his stock was up when he signed that contract. Like, oh my God,
Stephen Parry could hit 10 to 15 million.
Either Burns or Wolfenden. I wouldn't be sure.
Behave, Stephen. We're in League One. Fans get way too carried away.
Well, wind it back. He says on promotion, so he's talking about if we win promotion next season, for example. You'd imagine
Scott Tyne won't go for 10 million, and he was he was one of the best players in this league.
Okay.
Yeah, Steve could be right there as a championship player potentially. Yeah, okay. But the fact is, he signed that new deal, and back. He signed that new deal and we was like up here with him. Oh, can we keep him? Then he disappears off the scene completely. We're like, he's finished. And then, got the euphoria of him signing again. Let's just hope he can pick up how he finished the season in August.
Craig at Portsmouth. We're sitting in the garden taking the sun in. Enjoy it, Craig. Is Matt happy that we are pre-season favourites for the bookies to win League One? So yes, news this morning.
Furious about this. Ridiculous. Based on what? It's ludicrous.
Okay. Based on what says Matt? Rich, are you any? I do
agree with Matt. Look, we did improve under Kieran, although if you'd have took that form through the season and points per game, we still wouldn't have made the playoffs. We'd have just missed out by a point. So, what are they basing that on? What McKenna's done? What signings? I think to bring that out at the minute. Look, I know everyone likes to have a little bet, a little wager now and again, but wait and see who comes through the door at Portman Road. I think, and then you're going to have more sort of. You can base that on investment and second half of the season. I do agree with that, Lee. Yeah, I get where you're coming from there, but I still want to see who comes in.
Yeah, you've got. I mean, look,
it's the bookies, isn't it? Just simply protecting themselves. Like, if you were to price Town at 6-1, that's an easy couple of quid on that because they're a big team in League One. They're all right. We haven't finished inside the playoffs once, but
Matt's got a fiver. He said he'll turn turn it into 30 quid for you.
Well, exactly.
Well, I lost that tenner, didn't I, as champions?
No.
But it's just the bookies, isn't it? Just protecting themselves. It's nothing more, nothing less. You're going to, always price town quite high.
Our name itself, even if Sunderland had been down there, both those are big names, have been in the Premier League, etc. I mean, look, Derby will be in there. Portsmouth will probably be in there as a mix. It's going to be really difficult. I think it's going to be difficult again, but we'll wait and see.
I was watching Alex Griffin's. He went to the final, and I was watching the scenes in Trafalgar Square. Did you see it on Friday night, Matt?
Yeah.
Sunderland. I'd love some of that next season. I really would. If we got to Wembley, I know you want to go up probably as champions. If you could pick any way of going up, and it was guaranteed, Wembley every day of the week. 40,000 at Wembley, 45,000.
I want the trophy. I want the trophy lift at Portman Road.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
If you had to choose between second and the playoffs,
you get a trophy now. You get a trophy now for coming runners up. Did you know that?
Do you?
Yeah.
They give a trophy for everything these days, don't they? What on earth?
And also, while I was watching that show back, that was when Matt was presenting Norwich City with the participants.
Clutch Cup. See, he's always been
got a minus 56 goal difference, Norwich.
Well, Leeds have got minus 38. That could put them down today if they.
I think Leeds will go. I think Leeds will go down today.
What do you make of Trevor's claim here, Rich? Think Wolfie could play as a holding midfielder?
No.
All right. Short and sweet.
I mean,
I'm not into experimenting. I don't want experiments next season. I want players who play in proper positions. Round pegs in, round holes.
Just like
bring
that
the ball
reply.
out nicely, though, to be fair to him. Just bring the ball out nicely from the defence. But I mean, as we said before, that middle position of the three allows you to do that a little bit. Isn't it?
I just like that reply. No. Just
no.
Flat out, no.
I don't want no experiments. I want players who play in proper positions, hit the ground running July the 30th, and let's go.
Okay.
Let's be up there all season.
Let me ask you a question then, because obviously we've talked about the players, talked about what you want. After a year or 6 months of McKenna, what's one thing we do well now at the football club? What's one thing we are good at as a team on the field, Matt? What would you say is our strength on the field at the moment?
Don't know.
You don't know. So that's not good. You need to know the answers.
Was there strengths there?
Absolutely.
All retention, Matt. We're good at retaining.
Certainly, joking aside, I think the three at the back and the keepers seem to be nailed on. And we had that little run of keeping clean sheets. That was really good. But the problem with that comes that whilst you've shorn up the back, we weren't scoring goals either. So while we've got a 10 out of 10 at one end of the pitch, with 0 out of 10 at the other. So that's a real balancing act that McKenna's going to have to find. How do you keep clean sheets and score the goals to chalk up the 3 points? And that was one of the reasons we finished 11th. We couldn't do both in the same game.
You say ball retention there, Rich. Is that technical ability, would you say then? We're a good technical side?
Yeah, I think we've got some good technicians in the team. We do keep hold of the ball. Look, you've only got to look probably since McKenna's been there, Martin. I don't know what the possession stats for the league are. I would say it's either us or probably MK Dons will be top. And I know possession of the ball doesn't mean a lot if you don't score. I get what Matt's saying there, but yeah, we do look good. We've got the ball, we pass it around well, but you still got to have that cutting edge at the end. And that's what we didn't have. And that's probably why we didn't make the playoffs, because for a lot of times there when we had a lot of the ball, when like the Cheltenhams come down, and all these teams and park the bus, we did have spells there where we had loads of the ball, but we never really looked like scoring, did we? Because we drew we drew like 16 games, didn't we, I think?
Yeah.
Way too many.
That shows you we didn't have the cutting edge, doesn't it? Same as when Roy Keane drew all those games when he was town gaff. He said it's because I didn't have a decent enough striker, and that shows you the difference between winning the game and scoring it.
So what area was missing from us then? Because it's very simple to say we had no cutting edge, so we're going to go and buy a 20-goal season striker, and that'll be the answer to all our ills. But you just said there, Rich, we had all the ball, never looked like scoring. So what is one area that we definitely have to improve next year? It's not as simple as saying
I've said it before. We need to unpick that lock when these teams come down and park the bus. We need to find that whether it's playing a different formation, playing a bit longer,
Yeah.
scoring an early goal, changes a game. A team like, say, your Cheltenhams or your Cambridge, they come down. If we can get an early goal, even like Portsmouth, one of the better teams in this league, Oxford, another team, we see what they've done second half. They were happy to come to Portman Road. I thought Oxford were one of the teams, Matt, who really disappointed me. The first half at Portman Road, I thought, played some really good football. But after half time, all they wanted to do is waste time, lay on the floor. But we have to be better than that when we can't keep at full-time and coming to St Alpha moaning, oh, this team done that, the referee done that. No, forget all that. We've just got to be better at our job.
I like that. I like all the shit housing. I like it. We should do it.
I'd go deeper. I'd say we need pace. We need a big injection of pace in our football team, Matt, because we're good at technical ability. We're good at keeping the ball, but our pace on it, off it, running at teams, it's non-existent. It's not there.
Well, everyone in the comments is saying set pieces. Let's pop that a second. We'll come back to that. But pace, absolutely. I mean, how many times do we see like a Burns cracking down the right-hand side, puts the ball into the box? No one there. Everyone's floating around the D. Haven't got there. So we're not scoring those clinical goals, those counter-attacking goals is one of the reasons. Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, we know McKenna likes to give players profiles. The only one who actually has that profile is probably Burns down the right. And wherever you choose to pick Jackson, I suppose. Cena's quick, isn't he? But for whatever reason, he was on the fun off the pace.
Is he a player as a defender? You'd be worried about knocking the ball past you 5 yards and beating you on the sprint? Because I wouldn't be.
Burns?
No, Selena.
Well, I guess in number 10, it's a little bit different, isn't it? I suppose you're not knocking the ball past players, are you? Looking just to play into the channels a little bit. Certainly, Burns brings that, doesn't he, on the right-hand side?
Yeah.
And you saw how people were marking him towards the end of the season, knowing what the threat he would bring. But it'll be interesting to see if Selena does come back and whether or not, people keep saying he didn't have the pre-season, etc., whether or not he can up it next season. Certainly him running at you down the middle and he might give away a free kick or whatever, that's going to cause panic. But yeah, I think Burns is the player that you can knock it past them 5 yards and out-sprint them.
What about, just a question to you two, what about tempo? Do you think we play too slow sometimes?
Again, that's pace for me. Again, yeah, absolutely.
We make it easy for teams, don't we, to get men behind the ball?
So, well, that was certainly a case, wasn't it, with like the stat padding we saw under Lambert, where we were just passing the ball around the defence. Absolutely, I think that has improved with McKenna. I mean, I still think the best performance I saw, just in terms of what you were saying, ball retention and tempo and pace and everything, was that 4-0 away at Gillingham. Okay, they weren't great shakes, were they, Gillingham?
Yeah.
But the fact was, that game was the first game of the new year, wasn't it? McKenna's first game, second game.
Second.
Yeah, and they had that spell between the two games, didn't they, where they worked things out, and it was just night and day, wasn't it? To the Cook era, it was brilliant to see. I hope we can see more of that next season. Hopefully.
Because pace can come in many different forms, one of which is like that Gillingham game where you exploit the space you've left by your movement, by a quick 1-2 turn and into the space. We haven't got those type of players. Carl Edwards flashed, as Moby says, showed flashes, pace and ability. A big thing in the chat is set pieces, but something else Stephen Parry has said, which I think feeds into the set pieces, is mentality. The mentality needs to be better. We saw towards the end of last year, we had a conversation on Twitter, Rich, about the games we fluffed. You could argue pressure maybe got to the squad. Obviously, the late equaliser at Oxford. Mentality is big, I think.
That's what I said a few weeks ago back on air about the players we sign. They've got to have that mentality about them. They've got to know, like I said, they're going to be playing in front of 26,000 every other week. The pressure's going to be on them, mind, to deliver. I think sometimes the players get away with it too easy. We have a go at the manager. The players are the ones on the pitch. Look, I know Kieran sets them up or Paul Cook sets them up or whoever's the manager. But they've got to go out there and deliver, Matt, and they can't be shirking it. You're playing, you're 0-0 at home to Accrington and Stanley 70 minutes and go hiding. That's when, you get promoted. Look at Norwich the other season when they had Farker in charge. How many late goals did they score? They scored loads. And that's what you have to do. You have to keep playing 90, 95 minutes. You might not play well on that given day, but you have to find a way to win that game and win them games. And like we say, 16 draws. We can't be drawing Martin 16 games next season. We have to turn half of them into wins. You know, at least beat the teams who come up. We got 4 points. You know, 4 points from 24. You know, turn that round and win every game like Rotherham did. That's another 20 points.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Stephen Parry, we switched off Oxford, Wigan, Morecambe. There are so many games. It's belief, Matt, isn't it? It's having the belief that you know, for a corner, for example, you're going to get on the end of that ball. Hell or high water, I'm going to get on the end of that cross.
You have to. Oh yeah, absolutely, and I totally agree. I mean, do I agree about the mindset mentality? I mean, you'd think Chaplin, Morsey, Burns, George Edmondson, Christian Morton. You'd imagine they've got the right mindset. I think.
Well, Edmondson didn't play towards the end of the year, so you know I agree, but he didn't play towards the end of the year. You
know, it's that kind of they come from higher. Some of them come from higher divisions. Yeah, it's an interesting one. That certainly, what is interesting is the lack of set piece goals. Absolutely, I mean, I don't think we've taken corners since Waghorn left.
It's massive, like Kieran said. Yeah, Matt, that's virtually impossible to get out of a league without scoring a goal from a set piece, and it is.
Yeah, and we were vulnerable, weren't we? Like you say, that Oxford game.
But that's switching off, Martin. That is switching off. Burgess had a really good game that day, but he made one wrong step.
Yeah.
Literally, that is the last kick of the game.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen. You cannot let that happen. Whatever you do, get your head on that ball or stop your player who you're supposed to be marking. Stop him getting ahead to it.
But
you can't do that.
I agree, but I also felt maybe that game, the nerves towards the end of that game, you just felt it coming. Maybe. And I think we were treated, we boxed ourselves in. They were getting close up until that point. You know, it was a case of, can we see the last 60 seconds out?
Didn't look like scoring. Oxford, I was at that game. They didn't look like scoring all half. We dominated. But there's another thing. You're 1-0 up away from home. Go and get another goal. Take the pressure off. Score a second goal. Their lot can all go home. They were celebrating like they won the bloody Champions League, and we were all standing there. And you know, at that point, that was probably where we all knew the season's done.
That was the day, wasn't it? Absolutely. I mean, sometimes when you do become cautious about things, then you invite in the pressure, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which makes it worse. Which is why maybe Norwich scored so many 90th-minute goals. I'm thinking, what was the reason for that? Probably because the tempo was high through 90 minutes. They kept it.
But they got a belief. They've got a belief that they've done it once, Matt, and they can do it again. And when you're winning every week and you win, however, you might not play well, you score maybe a lucky goal, a deflection. You've got that mentality in you that, look, we've got 90 minutes. We still need a goal. We can still win this game.
Yeah. And that season they started doing that was after the 1-1 with us, wasn't it? At Portman Road, the Paul Hurst game, the Biakowski got dropped. Yeah. So it come off the back of that because he looked like he could get sacked, didn't he, Parker? It looked like he was out. So they obviously went, from the darkness comes the light. So whatever they did there, what was that, September time? You can make those changes at the start of the season if needs be. But I mean, look, we don't like them, but it's a good model to look at.
Fitness as well. That fitness to still play at a consistently high level every game until, for the full 90 minutes, be that whatever added on time that the referee may give. A lot of comments coming in. One of which is obviously about the players in the sense of we've got Stephen Parry. I think the first two buys will give us direction of travel. So which direction would you take it in if you were head recruitment, if you were Mr. Williams, if you were in charge of the recruitment strategy? Because I don't think I've seen two fans give the same response as to the profile, word of the season, of player they would go for. Would it be a journeyman who's been there, done it in League One, and a hungry up-and-coming League Two player, maybe a foreign commodity that's exciting, I'm not saying De Santos, but like a De Santos on the ball? Which direction would you take it to achieve the success? Rich, I'll start with you. What's your recruitment strategy as head?
Well, look, I think I'd look at defensively, goalkeeper. We're sound, don't we? I don't think that needs any sort of work. We might need to sign another goalie if Balaki goes to Aberdeen, which I think he probably will, Matt. I think he wants to play football. He's not going to want to sit on the bench. But I'm not too worried about that. You can pick up a goalkeeper somewhere who's maybe a young loanee who can sit on the bench, or maybe an experienced hand who just winding down the years, maybe. Not worried about that. But you need to this is why Jackson's a bit of a strange one. I don't know if I'd have signed him. I might have gone for someone younger. I've got a name here for you. You probably not heard anything of Jay Stansfield.
Ooh,
He's a young striker at Fulham. They got him from Exeter. He's 20. Played for England 18s, under 20s. Now, I think that is where Kieran will know a lot of these young academy lads. You know, he was at United, he was at Tottenham, he was at Forest as well. I think and Sam Williams as well, Matt. I think there's a lot of hidden gems in these academies. You know, players that are not going to make it. Or look at Tammy Abraham when he was at Chelsea. You know, he was there. Bristol City took him on loan. Someone like that who's young, hungry. I would have gone for someone like that over Jackson. I can understand why they've signed Jackson, Martin, because what he offers.
Pace.
I think it was George. I don't know if it was George or Lewis. I'm not sure what show I watched in the week. There's going to be games where Jackson's probably not involved. And then there's going to be games like the MK when we went to there, Matt, and he played, didn't he, up front on his own. And I thought he'd done quite well. So I can see why they've signed him. So I'll be looking down that route. I'll be looking in these academies, seeing who we can get. I'll definitely target overseas. Mark Ashton said that they've been looking there. I know Brexit makes it a bit trickier on that one.
It does, but you have got Martin Pert, who's got some, sort of South American connections back in his CV, I'm sure, looking at his coaching career.
Or do we look at cherry picking some players from other League One teams, Matt? You know, some of the teams who didn't go up. You've got like a Conor Grant at Plymouth, like for a wing back. You've got the lad at Plymouth who's been released, Kamara, the midfielder. I know Sheffield Wednesday are looking at him. Striker-wise, I want someone who's done it at a high level.
Charlie Austin?
I said before, Charlie Austin, too old.
Oh, okay. So there is an age.
Too old. I think he's too old. I think he's gonna go up the southwest. I think he's got family up there. But was a good player. Had a few injuries. I know left wing back. I think on Wednesday show Tuck said about Luke Garbett. I wouldn't go down that route. He's been injured a lot of the season at Blackpool. Striker wise, someone like your Vyman, Matt. I said earlier at the end of the season, I like him. Could we get him? It depends if you can get that player to drop down, but Mark Ashton obviously knows him. I know Colin Clark-Harris at Peterborough. Yeah, someone like him, I wouldn't be adverse to but it's, can we get him away from Peterborough? Because Grant McCann's going to think, right, he's got teams out of this league. He got Hull out, didn't he? He knows what it takes to get. Clark-Harris will probably be a big part of Peterborough. I think getting out of this league. He got 12, 13 goals, Matt, in a team that relegated out of the Championship. He got 30 goals last season, the season before last, in League One. So he's done it in this league. Could we tempt him to come to town? I know everyone's got a price.
Difficult with Darren.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not bought on any of those suggestions. I mean, I'm Jay Stanfield, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I just don't think Andre Vyman, for example, fits the profile of the pacey striker I think we want. I think we want to get faster at the left wing position.
I think we need more than one.
Central position.
We need more than one.
You've still got Mr. Piggott on the books. I'm not saying he will be here come the 1st of July, but I just don't know about Jonathan Clark-Harris. I think that's good. It's a good.
Who would you sign? Or what way would you go? Come on.
I wouldn't. You say I wouldn't go. I mean, I'm sure we won't mind me mentioning his name. The Fisherman, for example. I think he wants sort of proven commodities, players that have been there, done it, got skin on in the game on the wall. That got promotion, got medals in the trophy cabinet to get us out of the division. I certainly wouldn't look at that. I'd be looking at younger players that are hungry and fast players. Maybe some South American flair, maybe some, if you can satisfy the Brexit requirements, maybe some Dutch in industry we've had previously.
Like about South American, but like Mark Ashton said about these players coming in, it's all got to fit, hasn't it?
Well, one player I think would fit. You don't want to flood the squad with them, but equally, you've got some good building blocks to work around. I just look at my front four, Wesley Burns on the right. I want to fill those other three positions with Connor Chaplin, but then two pacey players, real pace that, if you've got a left winger that can put the ball in the box from the 20-yard line, or put
Is
it past
Kyle
the
Edwards
fullback.
not that man? Is Kyle Edwards not that man? You've got him
Off
already
the
at
bench,
football club.
yeah. Prove it to me, Carl. I'm not going to hand you a starting position because you're a fast player. That's just not going to happen. If you come on off the bench and nudge out my new signing, happy
Even
days.
Barry says you're saying places, but no names.
It's not my job to do names. It's my job to tell you what the profile of the
Well,
player I
we
bring
need
in
someone
is.
like Smith, really, don't we, Matt? Because if we sign a South American with a name that Martin can't pronounce, it's going to
I'll be
be
in trouble.
carnage.
Big trouble. Big trouble.
That's-
And my striker has to have a body of work of scoring goals, Matt. But I'm
Good
not.
player, Craig from Portsmouth. Ronan Curtis, good player and a bit of a shithouse. I'll take him.
Trevor Amos
Absolutely.
says the depot released by Rotherham.
Would you
Mm.
take
Goals.
the depot?
Yeah, he's a good player. I'm going down a different route to you two completely. Yeah,
Go for it.
I'm looking at the free agent market out of the Championship,
Oh, tell us why.
25 to 28. Just because if you've made an impact in the Championship, I feel like you should be able to make an impact in League
Who
One.
have you got? Who's on that list? Is Ramon Sawyer's on that list? Because he was
Oh.
released yesterday by West Brom, Matt.
Oh, well,
He was.
interesting. Interesting.
Have
Well,
a
I've
word
got,
with Chris. Would he fit for Town? I want to
Yeah.
know.
he'll be wanting him to sign so he can come on again.
Good
He's
player.
eager to get on, everybody, Chris. So out of contract at the moment, Harry Cornick at Luton.
Is he out of contract?
Yeah.
Good player.
Now he
Good
might
player.
be. Now he might be too much of a Connor Chaplin style player in that he can, play on the side. Or
You know, if I brought him in, Matt, what I'd tell him to do?
Go on.
Put his socks up.
No.
Don't like it.
Steve Claridge, low socks.
Yeah, so he's out. He's out of contract.
Good player.
And Luton is the kind of club that we can easily surpass on wages, I think. But again, he might want to re-sign there because he likes Nathan Jones and he likes what he's building there. But Harry Toffolo at Huddersfield, left back, we need one. Obviously they could be still a Premier League club, but he might not fit the mould.
Very good player.
They get promoted. Remember him at Lincoln. Jed Wallace in the middle from Millwall. He's out of contract.
He's in talks with another Championship club that I read this morning.
Yeah, I've got one of my mates supports Millwall and he raves about him, but I think he'll be Championship.
Yeah.
He's done really well. He's done really well at Millwall. If you look at the assists, Matt, the last few years in the Championship,
He's what you need.
he's up there.
Robbie Brady, who was at Hull, I think, now been at
Good
Bournemouth.
grief. Ex-Norwich.
Joe Rolls at Cardiff, I think it is. Joe Rolls.
Yeah,
And
Cardiff.
he's a blast from the past. Tom Lawrence, out of contract at Derby, was their skipper this year. Do you go with him instead of getting Selena back?
Yes, and yes.
No,
Pace on
sorry.
that left side.
Carl Brooks the other week. Carl Brooks had a poll on Twitter about who would you sign, Selena or Tom Lawrence, and a lot of people said no, wouldn't touch Tom Lawrence. He's bad news.
Well,
Listen,
he didn't cover himself in glory in that
No,
incident.
he didn't. And I do get that, but
No,
if
he
you're
didn't.
looking on what he's done in the team that got relegated last season, Matt, he was one of their outstanding players. He was their captain. Look what he done when he played at Town. What did he get, Martin, that season? 11 goals.
I can certainly look it up, but it was a great
Absolute
return.
world.
yeah.
He's in there. I think he's a very good player, Tom Lawrence.
And he got 12 goals last season, like you say, again, like Clark Harris in a relegated side. He was captain. I think he enjoyed being captain, I'm told. So, yeah, they're all out of there. Strike while the iron's hot. No one knows who owning Derby at the moment. So if you go in to the administrator and say, we'll give you $500,000 for Tom Lawrence, you're probably going to end up. But I think we're in a really good position. Whether or not you could get a Jed Wallace, I get all that. He might be looking at other Championship clubs, like you say. But I do feel like we're in a really good position to be able to match the power of wages. This is what it comes down to at the end of the day. And with Ashton and McKenna selling the vision of where this club is going, and with the American ownership, I think we're in a really good position to be able to take those players from the Championship and tell them perform in League One, which is a level below than what they've been doing. And if Tom Lawrence can score 12 goals in the Championship, how many could he get in League One? If he can get firing, of course. And I never know if not League Two players can step up. I mean, there's a kid, I think, at Hartlepool. Some of the lads in the comments might know him. Molyneux, I think his name is. He's won every single award there this season. So, I mean, he's obviously one to watch. And I saw Forest Green v Mansfield the other week, and I referenced Cadden as a January window style option. His set-piece delivery was really good. Really good. Now, whether or not he fits the mould of what McKenna wants, but in terms of set-piece delivery, I was really
Who's your man at Southend now? The right back who you wanted to sign, who won. What was his name?
Oh, Elvis.
Elvis Bournemouth. Brilliant. I think he's still there.
Is he still
Is
there?
that a club, isn't he?
Still there. Well, Darren will tell us, won't he? Darren Curry would tell us. Big old
Absolutely.
Elvis. Yeah, see, that sliding doors moment, that could have come to town.
I do like what you've sort of suggested there, particularly because immediately I'm thinking Tom Lawrence on the left, Wes Burns on the right. That immediately makes the opposition's back four retreat 10 yards because they know if either of those players get the ball, they're going to beat us for pace all hands down. You throw in another pacey striker, the defence retreats 5 more yards. And already you're making teams backtrack and create more space for a Chaplin or whoever to operate in those central areas and get something cooking. Last year, it was too easy for a Cambridge, for example, to come down to Portman Road, condense the pitch, and try and make us play through, not round, not over, not a through ball to chase onto. That was too easy last year. We've got to change that. I do wonder, though, on the other side, are you chasing targets which, like Sonny Bradley last year, it's a bit out of the range, and you're just wasting a little bit of time when other teams are hoovering up more realistic target.
Get it? But for every Sonny Bradley that we fouled on, we signed Chaplin, who'd been in the playoffs with Barnsley and then dropped down to League One, and Sammy Morsey, who still has international aspirations of Egypt. So, I mean, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Balancing the scales.
Can you pronounce that name there? Can you pronounce that name?
Victor Gorkes.
Guy Koresh.
Guy, right.
That was good from mine, I thought.
Victor is his new name if he comes to Portman Road.
He's a good player. He's got a lot of goals for Coventry, but I think he'll stay in the Championship.
There you go. Tom Lawrence going to Stoke, Jerry says.
George Grant, Jonathan Stringer there, the posh fan in the chat. Now, he's a good player, Matt, George Grant, and he's been released. He's been released. He's on a free. He's a good player.
Is he bad news? Has he caused problems behind the scenes?
I don't think he's bad news. I just don't think it worked out for him at Peterborough.
Who's the lad that didn't go? Who's the lad that didn't go there? It was a bit of a ruckus, wasn't it? Pym? Christy Pym?
Christy Pym. He's out. They're getting rid of him. Cornell. Di Cornell's been released. That Northampton fan was right all along.
That's the first thing he said to me last Friday was, I told you about him, didn't I? I was like, oh, did you? Set me up a kipper there. But not every fan's correct. Look at the Christian Walton transfer show. He did not rate Christian Walton. How wrong was he? But there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every fan's got a different opinion. We've got Colin asking you a question here, Rich. Where do you honestly think we will finish next season?
Too early, Colin. It's too early.
Colin thinks we'll be top 2, and I said to him the other day, "What is that based on?"
First,
it's based on belief. It's belief.
You see, Colin's like me. Every year you're going to finish first. The fixtures will come out. You'll get your little fixture card through the post, and you will go win, 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 win. You won the league.
We'll do that 5-game prediction at the first 5 games. We'll all probably say, "Oh, we'll get 12, 13 points." Martin will probably say, "We'll win all 5. We'll have 15."
Because I drink the Kool-Aid. New season, I drink the Kool-Aid. Where are you both on this 100 goals, 100 points? Because I think as a football fan, right, it's a bit like it's coming home. You don't actually believe it's 100 points, 100 goals.
HMS Pistol League will be setting sail.
But where are you on that? Because I view it like it's coming home. We say it's coming home.
It's a laugh.
Yeah,
don't take it seriously, everybody. Come on, we're just having a joke.
Absolutely.
Has anyone ever done 100 goals, 100 points? When was the last time it was actually done? Can someone tell me?
Remember Reading when they went up, Matt? Do you remember Reading when they got 100 points in the Championship?
Yeah, the Steve Coppell team.
Yeah,
they managed to prick to Steve.
Did they get 100 goals though?
I don't know. That's the last time I can remember someone hitting that kind of target. He'd have been a good Ipswich manager, Steve. But he'd be boring, but it was, good manager.
I always think if you can't start a season overexcited, over-expectant of your team.
We've been there. We've done that already.
I love it. I love it.
Watching this show, we've been doing that the last 2 seasons.
No, but in your head, the fixture list comes out. You've signed a few players. You're winning this game. You're going up by this point. You're going to see the great stadiums in the FA Cup. Like, it's all great because in the middle of November,
home to Bolton.
Yeah, but those are the times when you realise. Yeah, but if you're constantly it's a level playing field. You got no highs and no lows. That's part of football, isn't it? Being down here.
I hope this is the breakout season and we see, the McKenna game plan, the Ashton game plan they've got for Ipswich Town and the money that the Arizona pension fund is putting in. I hope this is where you see it all bloom. This will be the season, I hope. But there's lots of aspirations for everybody in who's coming down or being promoted. Well, as I said last week, I think you've got to wait 10 games to see where we fall.
Last point before we wrap up today's show was mentioned on the Monday show, so I thought I'd get your views. The back three. there were certain question marks, and I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen the fisherman in a conversation with somebody chat about changing the back three. I think Lee Anderson, from the top of my head, suggested it. Edmondson, Wolfenden, and Indaba, or a left-sided centre half. Or would you stick with the back three that finished the year, or certainly Donatian? How do you see those back three positions sort of falling come the 30th of July? Because personally, I ain't upset if Donatian is there. I'm not upset if he isn't. We finished 11th place. Unless your name is Wesley Burns, you ain't safe. That's my take on it. What do you both think?
Well, Morsey's safe, I think, isn't it? As the captain.
If he's here.
If here, yeah, of course. Colin's just accused me of splinters.
Well, has
it's
been
not
said.
Thinking, Colin. Right, we're still in May.
It was a big conversation, I know, on Facebook, but certainly on the show Monday. You know, as usual said, you can't drop JD. Him and Burns are a great combo. I think that belittles Wes Burns' ability to say he can't be the same player without a Donatian. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he can, but I think it sort of takes away a little bit from Wes to say, oh, he was only as good because of another player. But how do you both feel? I'm the host.
They have got a good partnership, but the fact is that they play with all sorts of different players and form different partnerships in training Monday to Friday. So you'd like to think that he'll be able to play with other players. I think Edmondson gets back in the team, don't you? Once he returns.
But where?
Is he left-footed?
Nope, right-footed.
Right-footed. So I'd probably stick him on that right-hand side.
What, and drop Donatian?
Yeah.
This is why I thought I'd bring it up, because for three positions, Rich, I thought were quite safe. You know, like, oh, that's already three people penciled in. People have got a different permutation every time you ask somebody. He's just said drop Donatian. What are you going to say for your back three?
I know a lot of people say about we want to replicate what we've got on the right-hand side down the left-hand side. Now, we want someone who's flying down that left, but a lot of that is because Donatian's playing on that side. And he can drop in as a right-back, Martin. You know, Burns, I know he plays as a wing-back, but he naturally drops into that position. Now, I did say on here, when Edmondson was playing, when he went to that left-hand side, Mick Mills doesn't think he can play there. He doesn't think he can bring the ball out, and he questioned his fitness as well, which I think was a bit harsh. But would I drop JD? Not a chance in hell. You know, I wouldn't. I think he was one of our standout performers. If he was second in Player of the Year, Martin, and I know you say, yeah, but we finished 11th, and anyone's irreplaceable and not replaceable, and I do get that, but they do work well together. But we need to find that combination on the left-hand side of the pitch. Wolfenden in the centre, he's a given.
Yeah. But do you do that, Rich, with a right-footed, left-sided player when you've got Indaba coming back, Player of the Year, left-footed, Baggett, not saying starting, but left-footed, Burgess. You know, do you get that same level of play on the left as the right if you've got somebody who's not naturally a left-footer in the centre-half position?
Maybe not. I do get where you're going there, but is he really going to... Look, Indaba's a really interesting one. I want to see what he can do this season, because it's time now. If he's going to make that breakthrough, Matt, I think that it's probably going to be this season. He's had that loan spell, like Wolfenden when he went to Swindon. Yeah, it's done him the world of good. Look, he's got Player of the Year there, Martin. So obviously,
I think he will.
He's had an outstanding season. So
we've got too many options in defence now. So maybe that suggests that one's going to get sold.
So I'd
let Burgess go. I'd let Burgess go if it was up to me, because
Agreed.
I don't want to stand in the way of Indaba. You know, I think Baggett goes out on loan, Martin. I think that's probably the sensible move for him. Yeah, I know you said, I'm not saying that he couldn't play in this team, Baggett. I know we've seen him and he played in 2 games, but were they really pressure games, Matt? Not really.
No, you know what you mean.
But he needs to go
for Rotherham, because Rotherham.
But I didn't agree with Nunny on Monday. He'd had a few too many beers, and he was quite argumentative with you, Martin, when he was on about, but they can learn a lot in training, these players. No, you've got to, if you're a young player, cut your teeth and go and play first team football. You know, don't just be happy with, oh yeah, I'm at a big club, you know, I'll train, I might get the odd game in the Papa John's, I'll play in the cup games.
Yeah, it's not showing much.
Like El Mazzuni now. El Mazzuni's at an age where he's done all that, you know, he's been part of a squad. He should want to progress his career and move on. And he should be saying to Kieran, look, am I going to be part of your plans in the first team next season? And Kieran would probably say, you'll be in around the squad. Not good enough. He should go and play. And that's what Baggett needs. Go and play. Go and get kicked. Go and get elbowed. Go and learn your craft down at League Two. Some of these grounds, Matt, you're going to, the facilities are not going to be as good as at Portman Road. Yeah. So go and learn about it. But, yeah, Burgess, I wouldn't be against selling him. I know a lot of people might say, yeah, but he done really well when he came in. Yeah, but what did he do before that? In the first so many games, I thought we paid 750 grand there, and I thought I wasn't really impressed with him. Second half of the season when he came back in, I thought he'd done all right, but it wouldn't worry me if someone like Burgess was sold, because I want to see what Ndaba can do now. It's either this season, it's now or never for him, because he's
I agree.
I love it when contributors give me that little bit back. You know that, Rich. So I'm more than welcome that on every show we do. And it's why you should watch all of our shows, particularly someone like Matt, because there's great content and different conversation on every single one. In George's defense, Matt, I do see where he's coming from, the sense of, do you get development just from playing on a Saturday afternoon? Or are you also better served maybe by being around a better facility, a better caliber of player in training, a better teacher in McKenna, or are you better served going out to a League Two, poor, not saying all teams are poor, but poor pitches, poor infrastructure, worse players, not as great teachers. So it was a great conversation George brought to the table on Monday. Which side of the fence are you? I suppose you're
I don't like young players being in comfort zones. So but you at the same point, you've got to go to a club that you can trust. You don't want someone going to Crawley and being stuck with bloody John Yems, for example. Right? But it's come out of the comfort zone of Ipswich. I still think that's one of our massive problems, really. It's too comfortable at Ipswich, They get too used to this kind of like bubble world of, I don't know, getting things done for them. You probably grow as a person and a player. Going to somewhere like Salford where they have to use a local facility for their training, even though they've got the Class 92 money behind them. It's not all Rolls Royces and limos. If you watch the Class 92 documentary, you can see you have to change. They have to go to a different training pitch one week, don't they, Rich? Because there's
training pitch. Did you remember that, Matt? When they turned up on one of them, it's just a muddy.
Yeah. You just grow as a player, I think, and you don't, and you lose the sense of entitlement. Pretty grateful for when you get back to Portman Road. But you have to go to a club you can trust. I didn't see the point of Dobra going to Colchester. It was too much. He's with all the same players as with the previous season. Made no sense. Okay.
All right. Last point from the man incoming very quickly. Then we're going to come to our announcement. Fisherman, you're on Wednesday, but you wanted the link. Here you are.
Cool.
What are you saying?
Hey. All right, guys. Oh, my head is fried. I've been doing my accounts all day. It's like, oh
Christ.
I've seen numbers and then I've seen numbers. Oh, dear me. Downloading statements. Yeah, right. So
you heard something. You wanted the link. You heard something. Come on, what is it?
Yeah, I did. What, Matt? Drop JD. Are you okay? Are you feeling all right? Look, no one's saying that JD makes Burns the player he is, but we took everywhere on the pitch. You need partnerships, and you need that. And what you have with JD and Burns is you have a phenomenal partnership, which we lacked up front. We lacked across the midfield, especially to our left side. And people say like, Edmondson comes straight back in? Does he? Ahead of Wolfenden?
Tell me.
Because if you're, you wouldn't play in the left of the three, would you? If you're looking for that similar player to JD on that left centre back. So who gets ahead? Does Edmondson get ahead of Wolfie? Does Wolfie get ahead of Edmondson? I'd argue Wolfenden gets ahead. I would argue Edmondson is probably second best to Wolfie right now. The way Wolfenden finished the end of the season.
Interesting.
So how would your three?
Do you know what I mean?
You've got the options at the football club. Rich is selling Burgess, loaning out Baggett. I'm probably agreeing with him there. What's your three? If you're, you've got those three players, you've got to choose three, or those 6 players. You've got to choose 3. What are you saying, Mike?
that is hard, isn't it? Because you've got Ndaba, who's been playing well again. You know, look, yeah, I think Baggett would. I wouldn't want to loan him out to a League Two side. I think he's got to get, you know, probably maybe loan him out to a sort of a decent sort of European side or somewhere like that if possible. But where he could get some really good sort of, you know, different styles of football as well. I like Baggett. I like, you know, he came in, he did a job, looked nervous, but he still did a job with a couple of mistakes. But, you know, Ndaba, is he the answer on the left-hand side? I just don't know. It's a big ask, and it's a lot to put on young players, especially when we're looking to get promotion. I'd like us to get a player for that left side of the centre back, and have Edmondson and Wolford and competing for that central role. You know, look, right now, if we don't have any players come in, the Edmondson, Wolford, and JD are your back three, aren't they? And your Burns is your right-sided, and but right-sided, and at the moment whoever on the left. But I think, like I say, I've said to Rich earlier, look, you know, we've signed in Luco on extension. That one was a strange one because I kind of felt that he hadn't really done a lot. I like him as a player, but not really done a lot as, you know, with assists and stuff like that. Jackson, again, a bit underwhelmed with that one. You know, so
let me just flip it a minute. So the conversation is, you know, see JD, Edmondson, Wolfen, and Burgess, blah, blah, blah. Denai Donatian, Matt, is 28 years of age. George Edmondson is 24. Do you think someone like McKenna might take a more pragmatic approach with it and think, right, longer term, development-wise, into the championship, blah, 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 to reach our eventual end goals, I need to be giving Edmondson this game time now to get him ready because Janoy is at the level he's going to be at. This is Janoy's ceiling. Is it his ceiling? I don't know. This is what I'm asking. So one's 28, one's 24. Do you think the age plays a factor?
Maybe. I mean, certainly Edmondson is the future rather than Janoy. At one point, we didn't think Donassi.
Okay, so we get promoted, right? We get promoted next season. That would take him to 29. He's in the championship, 29, 30.
Can he play in the championship, Mike? Is this Janoy's? Well, I don't know.
The argument is, you tell me a reason why you wouldn't play in the championship and why you wouldn't be any good in the championship. Because one-on-one is probably one of the best defenders in this league.
Rich, over to you. One-on-ones, best defenders in this
league. It's a case of, at the minute, I don't care how old they are. If they're good enough, they play. And at the minute, Donatian stays in the team because he's been outstanding this season. But if we get promoted next year, which we all really hope that we do, and then we go up, there will be certain players who, I see there was a tweet there yesterday, Mike, on Twitter, someone saying about we should be signing players who can also play in the Premier League. And I said, well, hang on. Firstly, we need to get out of this division. You know, you need to get out of this division, and there'll be certain players who can, like Sheffield United, for an example. There was players in Sheffield United's side who went League One, Championship, and they played in the Premier League. But you're not going to get that with everybody. You're going to have certain players who you'll say, look, thanks very much. You've done the job in this league, but you need to move on and you need to get a better player in. But can Donatian play in the Championship? I want to get out of League One first. Don't run before we can walk.
Okay, all right, fair point. I don't care who plays in the back three, as long as we get promoted. But it's a conversation that's rumbling on social media.
But our back three weren't the real problem, was it? The second half of the season under McKenna, our back three weren't the problem. It was our midfield and forward play that was the problem. Yeah. You know, we
but that's very simplistic.
I've got a question for Mike before he goes.
Yeah,
go on in. What's the question?
Are you keeping Sam Morsey?
Oh, mate. Oh, God, that was brilliant. Do you know what? I was like... But do you know what? It's amazing what people do when you write something on Twitter and they try and read in between the lines and put words into your mouth and imply that I wanted rid of him. I'm like, on what planet? You know? Look, you know, at the end of the day, if he goes, you know, players are replaceable. But do I want him to go? Of course I don't want him to go. But, you know, at the end of the day, is if someone comes in for Morsey, if Wigan wants him, then he wants to go, who are we to stand in his way? There's always plenty of Morseys out there. There's plenty of JDs out there. There's plenty of Edmondsons out there. You know, if you're willing to pay the money and you know, and the players want to come.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, you're on Wednesday's show.
boys.
Looking forward to it.
Cheers, Mike.
Look after yourself.
Yeah,
Right, we do have an announcement. Rich, I'll hand over to you for this because this was obviously your
have an announcement.
brainchild. Go for it.
Well, what did they call me? What did you call me? What did you name me, Matt?
Martin called you the patron saint of tickets. He
Patron
rides
saint
again.
So at the minute, we are. What is the subscriber number we are on?
Oh, I
Governor.
will get the full.
I think we're around 3,420-ish, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll confirm the full amount in just a second. But yeah, let's say that for example. Yeah.
So how many is that with your excellent maths to 4,000? How many do we need to reach 4,000?
Okay, we've got 3,421. That's what we've got.
Right.
So that's our actual
579.
There you go, 579.
So the first game of the season is on Saturday, July the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
If we can hit 4,000 subscribers by Saturday the 30th, I will buy, for the Talking Town community, I will buy one adult season ticket and I will buy one child season ticket. And we can sort of divvy them out, people who want to go to games, whatever. We can work that out at the time. But if we can hit 4,000 by Saturday the 30th of July, the patron saint of tickets is riding
Again. So we need 579 subscribers in 69 days for two community.
It's a big ask.
Tickets.
It's a big ask, but
big asks require big prizes.
And the child's ticket, if we give it to someone, say they want to go, they want to take their friend, and they're an adult, they can pay the upgrade. You can do that through the club, so it doesn't just have to be.
Yeah,
Callie, I'm not paying you petrol because all them free tickets you're getting, you're saving loads of money.
He is. £5. Moby. Thank you very much, Moby. We appreciate that. Into the pot it goes. But a big 69
and Matt,
days.
I'm not buying you that tracksuit top.
why not? I like it.
Because for 69 quid, I think, as you would say, it's a beautiful tracksuit top. If you've not seen it, Luke Wolfenden's wearing it, everybody on the Planet Blue.
It's good, yeah.
But it's not an Adidas.
No,
It's not an Umbro.
Yeah, it's lumpy, isn't it? You've just done 60 notes on that cricket shirt.
Yeah, got a cricket shirt going. A few bits for holiday. A few bits for me holiday. So, anyway.
Very generous, Rich, of you.
It is incredibly generous. Thank you very much, Rich. It is achievable. We certainly, if we all just push them, I'll keep making fantastic content with you two guys and the rest of the contributors, and we'll keep doing our bit. But we need you to do your bit, and that's hit subscribe, hit the like, join Talking Town.
We had 100 since Mark Ashton, haven't we? I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
In 2 weeks.
And
if you haven't watched the Mark Ashton show, anybody, why? Because it's brilliant. But we've had over 5,500 now watching that. We want to get to 6,000 for that one. Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it deserves it. It certainly does. A few more comments before we leave, but Rich, that is incredible. Thank you very much. Callie, here's some ITK info for you. No contract been offered yet, and 4 championship clubs have registered interest, all down to Ashton. Sort a new contract and ends it from there. I think that's regarding Morsey.
The horse's mouth.
There you go. ITK King Callie Bisler. Arisa Cruncher says the fisherman, Matt Stannard, claps hands. Could we all not chip in and help?
Well, if everyone wants to chip in, and we could do that anyway, even if we didn't reach that number. But let's see if we can get there.
Let's see what happens in the next 69 days. Great number. And we'll see how we go from there.
Right. Who's winning the league before we go?
Man City.
Matt?
Yeah, I think it'd be Man City.
Who's getting relegated? Who's getting relegated?
Leeds will go.
Yeah, I see Vicky said she's walking on eggshells because obviously her husband supports Leeds. So Leeds are falling apart again.
They are. They certainly are. Right, there we go. So
Liverpool, really?
Well, according to Pep Guardiola, we're all Liverpool today, aren't we?
I would have liked Everton to go down, especially after what their fans did to Vieira on the pitch.
Oh, very quickly, pitch invasions. Where are we on that one? Because it's got a bit out of hand in the last couple of days.
It's been brewing, hasn't it? We touched on this at the top of the year, didn't we? Saying there was incidents in the crowd and that. And then the thing on Billy Sharp was, Rich sent it to me and goes, check this out. I'm just like, gobsmacked by it.
So they weren't very happy. Well, that guy, where he lived, because obviously if you go to court, they publish your address, don't they, Matt?
Yeah.
So he's obviously moved into a new close, and they weren't very happy, obviously, that he's just moved in. But he was on 55 grand a year. He's an electrical engineer. And I've said this before. When people go to football, they turn into absolute morons, some people. You know, he said he'd had 6 pints. He had one at half time. And he said, I didn't mean to do it. Well, we've all seen the footage. Who was he running at?
A former Forest player as well, Billy Shelton.
Yeah. And as for the Port Vale, I don't know if you see the Port Vale Swindon one. Now,
Yeah.
on the back of what had already happened, so McGurdy, the lad who plays for Swindon, played for Port Vale the season before.
Yeah.
As soon as they had them penalties, like, where were the police? They should have been getting around them Swindon players, stewards, and getting them off the pitch. And they left them. There you go. Get on with it yourself. And I know, look, if Town got promoted or got to Wembley at Portman Road, look, I remember Bolton. You were probably there, both of you. I remember running on the pitch that night. But never in a million years did I ever dream of going and goading one of the players who played for the Oxford. Why? Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah, but there is an increasingly big drug culture problem in football.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know,
But what do they do to stop
that
it,
man
though?
there, 6 pints. Why do you need 6 pints in the space of, 2 hours, 3 hours?
Yeah.
What's
But
on
you've
earth?
got probably a lot of them who are out before, like, they meet up at lunchtime, wouldn't they? Yeah, big game today. Yeah, we're going.
I used to be. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and be, I'm never drunk. Of course, I was, in my younger days, I would have been at the pub for midday and had a couple of pints leading. But
What do they do to stop this? Do they say, right, there's going to be... Because this is obviously, it's out of the league season. They could say points deduction, couldn't they, if it happens in the leagues? What do they say, Matt, if there's a pitch invasion? What? You're not going to Wembley? We're going to, like the losers. Or do they get them big nets down? Like, do they have them big nets in Germany?
Yeah, they do. Behind some of the stands, yeah.
And you can't get on.
Got fences at Fiorentina.
What I would say...
You're not supposed to be on the pitch at all. If you look at the start, if you look at the ranks, you're not supposed to be on it at all.
But the Port Vale and the Forest pitch invasions, they're one thing. But I don't think I've ever seen a pitch invasion for staying up. Like,
Everton done it before. Everton done it before when do you remember when we stayed up at Blackburn?
That's a bit.
And they beat Wimbledon that season.
3-2.
It's a bit.
Look, I get why they run on. I don't.
No, you've just you've underachieved.
I get why they run on.
Just
you're excited. You're in that moment. I get why they run on, but just behave yourself.
You survived relegation. You win the FA Cup
Yeah,
or the UEFA Cup or win promote.
The way Everton have been carrying on is almost like they've won the league. The Goodison gang. They've not referenced this idiot who was got into Vieira's face. Too busy celebrating staying up. It's poor.
The amount of money their owner has spent, and your pitch invasion is and your pitch invasion ain't for top 4 or a league title or anything silly. It's for staying in the league. That's Tin Pot FC. Sit back down in your seat.
Especially when you spent about $500 million.
It's not like you're Burnley. You spent.
It's passion, though. What Lee Anderson said, it is passion, and I don't think you can sometimes stop that in football fans. It's just behave in the right way. Just don't act like Mike says. Don't act like a twat. But like you said, Martin, there's too many people. They've had a few. But it's the filming. He was filming the Vieira. Well, hey, have some of that. He's lucky he didn't twat him. He should have given him a right.
It reminded me of that Birmingham fan who got in the face that Villa keeper that time. Do you remember? And he went to prison for that.
Enkelman.
Yeah, same as that. Yeah.
Cool.
If you watch that back again, that footage, it shouldn't have been a goal. Because it goes straight in from the throw-in and the keeper doesn't even touch it.
Very quick Media Mogul story for you. Lois just reminded me of this in the comments to see talk about Hamburg. On Sky tomorrow will be the second leg of their relegation Bundesliga playoff. Hertha Berlin and Hamburg, who we've referenced here before, who obviously let off numerous flares and got on the pitch when they got relegated out of the Bundesliga. Hamburg won the first leg 1-0 in Berlin, and the second leg's live on Sky tomorrow. So that's nicely poised. Hamburg could be returning to the Bundesliga. So that's a big game. Look at Hertha Berlin's badge. One of the worst badges in football. Looks like a child did it on Publisher.
Fair enough. There we go. We're done. We're dusted. We're back tomorrow, 8:30.
Subscribe. Come on. Let's get to 4,000. Come on.
We need 4,000 for a community season ticket for one adult, one child. It's huge. Just hit the subscribe button.
Big shout out, me and Matt. Big shout out to Essex today. Beat Lancashire.
Won by the innings.
My phone's
Some of
very
that, Ian.
quiet. Ian from the cricket show,
Is
big
he?
Lancashire fan. Not heard from him all weekend, Matt. Wonder why.
Surprising. Very surprising. Yeah.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels